Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of All Caps. I'm Isaac Anderson, one of the hosts, the author of A Song of Bones in the Garden Maze. I'm joined by my co-host, Tim McKay, the author of The Fall of Salvandre and the newly released Skyfold. And our very special guest today is Kane Williams, the world-famous Australian and the author of Perils of the Past. Welcome, sir. I understand it's very early in the morning where you're at. Where in Australia are you located exactly?
Yeah, thanks, guys. So I'm in Sydney.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Nice.
How close are you to that
easy
really
for-
nice opera house?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. My wife actually has a cafe. Oh, Jay Bryden's just joined
Hey,
us.
there we go. We were just talking about you.
We were backstage, although we won't tell you if it was positive or negative. No.
We were saying all kinds of things, using all kinds
All
of
kinds
words.
of terrible things.
So, yeah. No, my wife has a cafe near the Opera House in Circular Quay.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool. Well, and you, I remember hearing you work at the university, don't you?
I do, yeah, the University of Sydney. So
Okay.
So you're really smart. What do you teach at university?
No, so I'm not a professor. I'm not a lecturer. I facilitate their clinical trials. So I draft their contracts. It's writing. It's a different type of writing.
Okay.
But it's writing.
So you're a bit of a lawyer.
I am a lawyer. I'm just not. I just trying to avoid. Like the word has so many connotations.
Yeah.
And for me, that is, working on some really exciting, innovative clinical trials on, for example, cancer and all the rest. And it's facilitating that. It's nowhere near a courtroom. It's not in a dispute setting. It's not, some of our favorite shows. It is writing and advising on writing.
Okay, maybe you could give me some legal advice for the situation. So let's say, hypothetically, I'm driving down the road in my pickup truck and I hit a bald eagle. Really smack right into that thing. It was its fault. It wasn't my fault. I'm not allowed to kill bald eagles in America, but I didn't kill it. The car killed it. And if I happen to take one of the feathers, which I'm not allowed to do, but it's already dead, it's not going to cause any harm. What would my defense be in that situation?
Wow.
If I've obviously broken the law.
This is like a perfect barbecue situation where the first time that someone's like, "Oh, you're a lawyer. I've got this problem." This is exactly that type of scenario.
Yeah.
I've kind of got a few go-tos. Sometimes I change the conversation. Sometimes I try to rope someone else in to be like, "What would you do in this situation?" Occasionally, I will remind people that I'm jurisdictionally bound to Australia, and so the border goes like Australia side. B is that I used to work in a law firm where I was kind of like advice for hire. Now I have one client, which is the university, so I can't advise anyone outside the uni. But in that situation, I'd like to think that that potentially we could get a vet on scene, and eagles are one of my favorite creatures of all time, and so I'm really hoping that this bald eagle can go through. And if you found a feather on the side of the road, which may or may not have been an eagle feather, you're just not sure, then potentially
That's
if that
true.
makes its way back.
Now, as my legal counsel, I should let you know I did swerve to hit the eagle. I was going normally, but I did swerve. But if I'm going to go not guilty, I'm letting you know I did swerve to hit the eagle. Okay. But we're gonna tell him I didn't. I'm pretty sure the tire tracks.
Look, I'm glad this isn't being recorded for a number of reasons. I mean, from your admission side, but also from the fact that I'm kind of tending towards giving legal advice outside of this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, it's brilliant. This isn't like live on YouTube or anything.
Yeah, it's really good, really good. Mm-hmm. Are there any like protected? I'm going down rabbit trails. Are there protected animals in Australia you can't kill or keep parts of?
I'm just enjoying Tim's face as he's like got this plan for this interview, and you're like, let's head in the other direction.
I'm having a blast. I'm just watching you try to navigate this legal shitstorm, and I'm dying laughing here. This is wonderful.
Well, I'm just trying to not lose you guys too many viewers from I guess deaths around animals. I mean, it's bad enough in a book, right? Let's try and bring it back to novels. You kill an animal companion in a book, and you better like the warning on page like 0, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, I was going to joke when you do at least bring it back to your jurisdiction, but it's not even your area. But hey, let's talk Australian animals, but Australian eagles. So yeah, Jamie beat us to it. But okay, so yeah, that was something else I was going to ask too, though. Is so you studied? I feel like you studied something science too, though, to be able to.
I did. I did law and science as a double. And
what was the science you studied?
I did chemistry because I'm a sucker for punishment. I
love chemistry, so that's awesome. Yeah,
chemistry is incredible, but the most fascinating part of it for me is to imagine that everything that we touch, everything that we see, everything that we interact with, everything that we are, at least on a physical plane, depending on your spiritual beliefs, is made up of 60, 70 different types of, like, yes, there's 110. But most of those are there's a stack of those that are quite rare. So really, if you're interacting with 70 different building blocks for the full diversity of the world and the surrounds and your room, and it's somewhat fantastical in a sense.
It's incredible. Yeah. My favorite subject of the sciences in high school was absolutely chemistry, like bar none. I skipped physics. I had the opportunity to take grade 11 and 12 physics, and I took fitness instead. I got in on a wait list, and I was literally just lifting weights instead of doing physics.
Did you misread it? You thought
it
said
physics,
but it
I
said
knew what I wanted.
Physicals?
I was 2 weeks into physics, and I hit the wait list, and I was like, see ya, losers, and I was out. I was like, don't give me, I like, they're all having fun dropping cars down ramps, and I'm like lifting weights. It was great. But chemistry, teachers, in high school especially, are mandated to blow stuff up for you. It's just, it comes with the territory.
Love
and that. I loved that, the mathematics and the systematization of just thinking of the world as these little building blocks slowly building up to this complex, beautiful, crazy, chaotic world we live in. It's incredible. So that's really cool. I never went beyond that. That's a whole other story. But yeah, chemistry, a lot of respect for that. Very cool.
So how much did chemistry and legalese inspired Perils of the Past, if any?
So the legalese, very little, like to none. This is not. I'll hold it up. This is not in any way, shape, or form a book relating to the law or inspired by anything of lawyer. This is inspired by the books that I grew up reading and the books that I grew up enjoying and the films, and so it's proper like epic fantasy. There's nothing law related. The chemistry, I have they talk about hard and soft magic systems, of course, and this one I have a magic system bound by rules, and the chemistry side might feed into that a little bit. There's certainly the interaction between magic and its opposite in my world is science related. It was inspired when I was studying at university, actually, and how a MRI machine actually works and how you take scans, and none of that complexity is in the book, but there is the magic and its counterpart and particles and antiparticles type kind of little bit. There's a couple of inspirations, but at a very high level for that magic system.
Without spoiling anything, I hope for anyone watching or listening right now, but I'm immediately rethinking the opening to your book, which I love, by the way. I want to get into that a bit, but I'm just picturing that vial being opened and the shadow coming out, and I won't say more, but which I just found that was a really unique opening right off the bat. Really fun concept of training, again, without spoilers, but the action and the just the immediate vibe of that, and then tying in things like meditation and reincarnation, and there's a lot I want to get into, but it was very fun. And now I'm thinking of that vial as like a chemist's potion, and I don't know. It's very fun. Already a very you do a. I'm biased because I love the style, but you do a very good job hooking the reader right off the bat. Like that, it immediately jumped up my TBR 2 pages in. I was like, oh hell yes, hell yes.
Thanks, Tim.
Nice. JA makes a very good point. Wizards are basically just different kinds of lawyers. They understand legal words and how to use them.
Yeah.
Maybe chemistry too. I mean, that's kind of like what a wizard does. Uses the natural world and weird made-up rules that someone made up somewhere and combines them together and makes things explode and catch fire and die.
You're a lawyer, Harry.
All the big things.
You're a lawyer, Harry. You're a lawyer. You're
I
gonna be a lawyer,
love that
Harry.
voice. I'm not sure it quite has the same mass appeal to the bright young minds that it did kind of.
No.
We'll
I
see.
wouldn't mind seeing kind of a lawyer's perspective in a fantasy world, because I know that lawyers exist in fantasy worlds, because there are courts and there are kings and there are sheriffs of Nottingham. So there's got to be freaking lawyers running around who are pulling their hair out saying, these wizards drive me crazy.
But do you want to see that character stabbed, or do you want to see that character succeed?
I want to follow
Side
that character through his
character, or-
whole life.
Okay.
And if he gets stabbed on the way, that's fun too.
There we go.
Like depending
There
on the
we go.
context,
Settle
you can
there.
have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah,
You know? Yeah, like there's storytelling opportunities within the courtroom and during research, and you know, so you can, I could see that actually working really well.
There are some lawyer characters in Song of Bones.
Hmm.
No one's met them yet. But Richard, the main character, hates them. He hates them so much because they don't let him do anything. He can't get away with anything because they're watching him too close, and they're fun to write.
So tell us about some of the other influences on, like, specifically Perils of the Past. I want to get into some of your other stuff too, like flash fiction. But for Perils of the Past, especially now, hearing, like, you know, the more scientific-minded side of you, but then encountering right off the bat something like reincarnation and meditation and interacting with past lives. Like, give us some of that. Give us the background and the influence for
Yeah,
what led to that part of the story.
One source of inspiration would be The Mummy, the original kind of, you know, movie from the 90s. You got Brendan Fraser, you got Rachel Weisz.
Yep.
And so it's a fascinating setup. It's such a great movie. So you got, so Brendan Fraser's Rick O'Connell, Rachel Weisz, we've got Evelyn O'Connell, the wife. She is a reincarnation of, we have to go a long way back, the Pharaoh's daughter. And so
now we're
she's
talking Mummy 2, right?
The what, sorry?
Now we're talking The Mummy Returns, number 2, right? Where that gets revealed?
Is it revealed in the first? No, it's revealed in the original. It's
In the first
revealed
one?
because she has when she goes
an
in the night
Egyptologist.
fight, head to head with the mummies.
Yeah. It kind of
fiance?
explained the mummy's
Mother?
attraction to her, because he kind of sensed that in her, I guess. In the first movie, it was just kind of like he, I guess, was reminded of her.
In
But
the first
maybe
one,
even
he
in the first
mistakes
script
her.
that was in there, maybe it got cut in the movie. But
Well, see, in the first one, he mistakes her for the what's her name, Anaxuna Moon, that he was in love with.
well, he knows it's not really her in the first. He's not stupid. He knows he's
kind
been
of stupid at
in a
first until he
box
got
for
more of his
1,000
brain.
years.
Anyways, yeah.
I
Now we're
really
getting off
I
track.
I need to rewatch them now.
I need to rewatch them too, but
they're
I
wonderful.
am
They're
about
wonderful.
95% sure movie 2 is when they show her reincarnated past.
Yeah, number 2 has the reincarnation stuff, but I think I'm willing to bet money the reincarnation stuff was in the first script and was just cut for time or simplicity.
Fair.
Because that makes that would explain why he was obsessed with the random girl that he met. That explains that's such a neat little explanation that it had to have been in the writer's room in that first movie.
And so you've got
Totally off track, right?
you've got the Bracelet of Anubis, and then you've got the. They are aligned with who they are. Like the present day and the past are perfectly aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still got the same kind of motivations as she does today. The baddies partner has the same motivations as they do today. And then an interesting twist that I was like, watched that as a kid, loved that as a kid, but one of the things that you kind of brought up as a writer and that you learn as a writer is that you want to put your character through as much pain as possible, like of all types, right? Of physical pain, emotional pain, and that's the only really way that you get a character out of their comfort zone and get them able to grow, get them able to have an arc over the story. We don't like to change as people. We like to, find our comfort area and make, tiny little improvements, but we really like to stay in that comfort area. And so if you push someone far enough out and inflict enough pain on them. And so one of the ways that I thought I could twist the Mummy would be, what if the past life of my main character, Antana, was what if she learned that it was opposite to her beliefs, opposite to her intentions, opposite to the way that she was raised, opposite to who she is as a person, who she kind of fundamentally believes that she is deep down. And what if that revelation kind of rocked her to the core? And so it was, that was one kernel of an idea. The difficulty part when you enter reincarnation is whether or not, does everyone remember their past lives? Do you have full control over your past lives, Benny?
Your strength gives me strength.
and so it was an interesting kind of way to examine that, and in the novel starts, as you mentioned, Tim, where she is learning to kind of connect with her past life, and that's something that's really quite rare. That takes a lot of training, a lot of effort, a lot of concentration, and so that it's not within the area of a normal, like a normal person isn't aware of their past lives, and they may not. This is the next kind of part. They may not actually believe that they have past lives, right?
Yeah.
It's not until, you get to a specialized temple where you're going through in a really extensive training regime that you have the potential to unlock that. And then the book goes deeper, right? Kind of finding fragments of your past life is the start, and then learning to connect with your past life, or learning to potentially draw energy or strength from your past life, learning to tap into them for knowledge.
You had two quick thoughts. One that immediately reminds me of the like a better version of what's Wahlberg. Wahlberg's recent, it's not that recent, but it's been out for
The Happening.
Infinite?
With the trees.
No, it's one about
Ted
reincarnation. Infinity. It's either infinity or an infinite, I think. And it's kind of that concept, is drawing on his past lives, and once he realizes that he is one of these rare people who can access his memories, and it's a fun movie. It's not the best movie, so this honestly is already better just from what I've read. But the other thing I want to say is, right away, very early on, you have this little tidbit from the main character's mentor, just trying to explain to her why she just keeps reliving this or seeing this small piece of her most recent past life. And the explanation you give right away, like him, like this mentor giving just a piece of wisdom to her, like, well, it's like a book. I won't spoil it. Like, you have to read it, but it was this little tidbit of exposition in dialogue that was absolutely masterful. It made me feel like I was immediately in a world where this is a thing, and exactly how a mentor would explain something to someone who's trying to understand this. And it was just really scarily beautiful. Like, it's very well done.
I think Tim really likes Kane's book. That's what we're getting at. So you guys should check out Perils of the Past.
is absolutely
pretty
worth
good.
checking out. You know, I can't vouch for everything past, you know, the first chunk, but what I've seen so far is like, again,
It could go way downhill, but so far it's very promising.
You better not let me down, Kane, because now my expectations are sky high.
That is the worst thing to say to somebody. That is the worst thing to say to an author.
I was just a little bit terrified then.
Yeah,
just a
the
little
pressure
bit.
is on. I had someone say that to me like a few times when I first put out the Pulse of Andrew. I was like, "Oh, you jerk!" So I'm like, now I'm just paying forward the pain. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, no. Okay, that's really cool. And you already had me at the Mummy. The moment your chief comparison or inspiration was the Mummy, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, we're friends. This is great. This is that's my childhood in a nutshell right there. Horror and action. You know.
Yeah, and
you mentioned
humor, as we've mentioned with Benny.
Yeah, Benny.
He's the best. They should have brought him back as a mummy in the second one. I think that would have been funny. A Benny mummy. That was probably a little bit more expensive to have 2 CGI mummies. Well, they had so many CGI mummies. Yeah, they could have.
They did have a lot of CGI mummies.
They could have brought it.
They're all pretty good. They're all pretty good. I was told.
Especially back at the time. I saw a video recently about Brendan Fraser was talking about doing the Mummy 2, and he was fighting the stunt guy. He's in like a little green suit or whatever, and he does the thing where he does the 2 fingers and he pokes the guy's eyes. He pretends to. It's like, this is a first take. They're gonna cut this out anyway. He does that, and then the director's like, okay, hang on, and they all go back. They start talking. They go, I think we can do that. I think we can put that in. It won't be that much money. We can have the eyes come out. We just got to do the eyes, but yeah, I think we can keep that. And he's like, oh, okay, great. Back then, it was like a lot of planning to get everything just perfect. It's easier today, of course, but back then it was a little bit more special. And it doesn't look as good today now. They've gotten lazy, or they haven't gotten lazy. They've gotten their timelines have gotten way too crunchy.
It depends, very much on the movie, right? Some movies you've got, just the CGI is incredible and the script is incredible, and others seem to be lacking in one or more of the departments. And I've been a little disappointed with some of the scripts lately. There's still some great movies out, of course, but I don't know. Just when I look back over, like, Lara Croft and Die Hard and Blade and all of those kind of movies that we grew up with. Yeah.
Did you see the Tom Cruise Mummy? How did you feel about that as someone who was a Brendan Fraser Mummy fan?
Like look, it had a couple of great scenes in it. You've obviously got the iconic Tom Cruise running away from everything. That's kind of, there was some fun to be had, but it couldn't stand up to the original.
Yeah,
no,
it was a Tom Cruise movie, not a Mummy movie.
That was I think that's the one time where Tom Cruise was kind of humbled by someone else's star power. He couldn't fill Brendan Fraser's shoes. Everyone's like, why is Tom Cruise in this? Brendan Fraser's supposed to be in the Mummy movies.
That's fair. Yeah. And then I love Russell Crowe, but that was interesting.
I never saw it.
Oh, you never saw it? Okay, yeah.
I never saw it.
No,
Brendan Fraser wasn't in it. I never saw it.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like you're not. It's worth a watch as its own thing, but it's not that good. It's nothing measures up. It needed, but you know what? There we go.
Yes, if Benny was in the movie, I would have watched it.
They tried. They gave him a quirky best friend kind of thing, and then
Benny's fun because he's also like a villain.
He's also a little bastard. Yeah.
We don't have enough of those.
Yeah. No, it's very true.
You mentioned earlier that you were inspired to write Perils of the Past because of things you read when you were younger.
Yes.
What were some of those inspirations?
So the biggest two would have to be Lord of the Rings. I'm not going to shock any kind of fantasy readers or writers without that. It is so I just the world building and the scope and the depth of the story and the characterization. Anyway, just such a powerful, incredible tale. And that kind of really kicked off, or that really kind of amped up my my love of fantasy, and also I need to mention The Hobbit. I don't think it's talked about enough. Like we all talk about Lord of the Rings, but The Hobbit for me was actually
It's better.
kind of what. Well, I certainly felt like that as a kid. Yeah, and there's something about how much is packed into such a moderately sized book, and it's enchanting. So yes, the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings on one hand, and the other would be Matthew Riley, an Australian author, and he writes books so packed with action and explosions and gunfights that they're pretty much too expensive to make as a movie. He's like, I can do whatever I want in a book for absolutely no budget, right? I can blow up that dam. I can shoot down 100 helicopters. I can, whatever I want. And that's the same. There is no budgetary constraints, and he writes like that. And so it's fast paced. It's gritty. There's it feels a little like that Die Hard movie where Bruce Willis starts and he's got a clean shirt and probably not that shaven, but he's got a clean shirt on, he's got shoes, and by the end of the movie he's got like glass out of his bare feet. He's like probably down to like a tattered singlet. We're covered in like cuts and bruises, gun over one shoulder, and he's limping, he can barely raise his arm. And so it's that kind of a Matthew Riley's got that kind of a style too, where the characters slowly get more defeated and more injured, and you're just trying to figure out how they're going to survive. And I wanted to bring that kind of fast-paced action into Perils of the Past. I wanted to bring that that epic fantasy novel feeling and the going on an adventure, a quest part into Perils of the Past, but while still making it, original and interesting and my own story.
Do you find it hard? That's just been interesting for me. I've seen this with my own book and some, some reviews, and then I've seen this even with yours with some of the reviews you've had. So it's interesting to me because I love this. And I love seeing some of that fun action brought into a more epic fantasy tale. And then sometimes genre norms get in the way. I love that blend. I really do. Like for me, I can pinpoint my book that's kind of the same as Ice Station for you, where mine was James Rollins. I love James Rollins thrillers. And that was kind of a subtle influence for my story. But then I wanted that epic fantasy scope. And there are things that maybe I would have done differently now in hindsight, having used the last 2 years to really dive in. And true of us all, right? You keep learning, you keep growing. But do I have any regrets? Absolutely zero. It's still, to me, I look back and I'm like, I wanted fantasy stories like this, like yours. And to be honest, like mine, that's why I wrote mine. And I probably get the sense that's why you wrote yours. This is the kind of story I wanted when I was younger. And now I feel like we're slowly seeing more of them on the market again, and so this is refreshing. That actually, and again, so far from what I've seen, you nail that action. It's very fun. It's very fun to read so far. So
thanks, kudos. Tim. And Isaac, you've talked about that too. How you wrote the book that you wanted to read as a kid.
Yeah, that's what I did. I sat down one day because I was at a crossroads. I could either go full gung-ho into animation, be an animator, and make someone else's stories, or I could write my own stories, but they just be on paper. So I decided to go book route because that's what I grew up loving the most, was those books. I love those books. And I made a list of books I wish I could have read when I was a kid. One of them was the seed for The Garden Maze. The other one was the seed for Song of Bones. And there are two more that I haven't talked about yet that I will get to when I'm either 40 or 50. And it'll be my masterpiece. But yeah, writing for younger me so far has not made very much money, but it has made me very happy.
That's what counts.
Yeah. One thing I noticed, so I wanted to ask you about this, and I didn't think to ask when Isaac and I were talking a bit before, But okay, so I want to bring this up. Character art from your website. But your book is loaded with arts, from what I can tell so far. Both black and white art that I've seen so far, and then even your section breaks are the illustrated katana essentially. I'm like, I love that. I absolutely love seeing that in books. So can you tell us about just the process? Is it all one artist, or do you have multiple? What's going on with your?
So the novel's all done by Anderson from Design Unlikely. His so Story Unlikely, you might recognize that. That's a magazine that's awesome. They've got some incredible stuff. Dan runs it, and they have a sister design company, Design Unlikely. And I've followed Anderson's stuff for a while, and he is just a brilliant artist. So the novel has, in addition to the front cover, which is a full. Actually, if you swap back, I'll take this dust jacket off and I'll show the full.
Let's go.
Let me show this.
Here, I will put you. Does this work? There we go.
Oh, lovely.
There we are.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
I don't get to show that as often as I'd love to. So so we've got that for the dust jacket. Under the dust jacket.
Let's
beautiful.
Go back. Yeah.
So this is the only thing in the book that Anderson didn't do. This is from 100 covers.
Okay.
And then so we've got 3 internals. I'll show the first, which is actually the shadow scene that you were mentioning.
Yeah.
This may or may not come out of a vial. And so this cave is the same cave that is featured on our cover.
Yeah.
And then I've got 3 characters. I've got a seer, I've got a warrior who's on the cover, and I've got a mage. And each of those have their own chapter header. And then each of those have a matched scene break. So, too kind. And Tana's that you were mentioning before, she has her sword.
That's nice.
And her, and then
I see. So the scene break illustration varies by character. That's fun.
So the chapter header and the scene break.
Yeah. Okay.
Is matched to the character. And so I don't have at the top, you know how everyone has their own style and preference for naming their chapters. And so I use a phrase inside the chapter. So in this one, it's "you'll lose everything." So that phrase is found within that chapter. And the webbed hand with a throwing knife is from my seer. He is from the Lake Island, and they have webbed hands. And so, there's matched scene breaks and chapter headers, and then there's 3 pieces of internal art. Although, let me just show. The only other one that I haven't mentioned is there
we go.
Half title page.
That's fun.
Which there's a couple of books. So it's really interesting when you start putting your book together, as you guys would know, about the different types of layouts, about the different orders of the pages, about the different page names. And I was a little bit initially mystified as to, you open a book and you'll have the title on the cover, and then you open the first page and you have another title, and then you open it and then you have another title page. So why have I got my title like 3 times? And it's because that when they used to bind books at the very kind of start of the printing press days, they would make the 2 separately, and they wanted to make sure that there was something protecting in case it got a little bit damaged. And then they wanted to make sure that they lined up the right cover with the right book. And so you end up getting them, generally twice on the inside, once on the outside as well, and then at the top of every other page. Yep. And I had seen one book that I played with taking a little bit of art or inspiration from the cover and putting it on the very first page. And I was like, I really like that before you get to like the full title page.
Yeah.
So yeah, Anderson, I kind of gave him a couple of different ideas, as you do with artists. You're like, maybe I head in this direction, maybe head in this direction, and then you get your first sketch back, and you're like, that's better than I ever pictured, right?
So did you do all your formatting? Like once you had the illustrations, was that you? And what did you use in that case?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different formatting options, as the writers would know. I used Atticus for this one.
Okay, yeah.
And
Atticus is great.
Atticus is great. Atticus is great. It was a little difficult. There's not many formatting. There's not too many formatting softwares that handle with ease individual chapter headers, individual scene breaks, and then all the other. Atticus took a little bit of playing, but it was certainly possible. But yeah, the formatting side, again, something you don't properly appreciate until you start doing it. And I'm glad that I learned some formatting software was within the budget, because it certainly makes a big difference when you can plug into their page width and their auto recurring chapter titles and headers and all of that, front matter templates, back matter templates.
Yeah.
It's but yes, it was a lot to get the book exactly kind of as I pictured it. But
yeah,
I think that's a real joy of going indie, was having that control. And I've never been so excited about choosing fonts and choosing sizes, and then actually doing it for your own book, where you're having a look at the impact on page length and readability, and where you can match it up with all of your preferences around so for example, drop caps, whether or not you are or aren't a fan of the drop cap. I happen to be a fan, so we've got the drop caps at the start. Although I produced a second version for the ebook, because I've been having some problems with it. Depends on your e-reader as to how well the drop cap does or doesn't work. And so I don't know about you, but when the drop cap is taking out, like taking over 2.5 lines for only 2 lines of text, or 2 or 3 lines for 2.5, and anyway, I just can't. So I've got the 2 individually formatted books, drop caps in my physical, drop caps not in my ebook.
It'd be cool if Atticus had some kind of change ebook button where it's just one document and it knows this is ebook settings, these are print settings, these are shared settings, and it'd be cool if they could do something like that in the future.
Yeah, they thankfully do have that kind of copy paste where you can just take your ebook formatted one already with the pages that you do or don't want displayed. So in the ebook you can mark that, in the one file you can mark, I do or don't want a table of contents. So I wanted there's a table of contents, of course, in an ebook, but I didn't want one of my physicals. So thankfully Atticus has those type of settings. It's quite convenient, and then you can just kind of copy one whole manuscript and then kind of add drop caps or change whatever style preference between the 2 books. So it was fairly suitable in that regard. You do have to be careful though, when like sometimes just a tiny change would, especially where you've got internal full page art, would then change which side of the page something appears on, or pushes something onto the next line or the next chapter. It's especially hard where you're trying to figure out what change you made. Like you make 10 changes and then you have a look at the book, right? And then you're like, no, like something's gone wrong then, and then you just kind of like unwind all the pieces.
And I was thinking for the ebook side of things, when you have, it's even trickier if you have, drop caps and illustrations above as well, because then if you don't format it right, your first page can be just 1 or 2 elements and then the words are on the next. Anyways, it can get annoying very quick, but some of that you can't control because e-readers are of all sizes, and someone's reading on their phone, someone else is reading on a big screen, a computer e-reader, or they're reading on their Kindle, so it's fun. That's where I want to get maybe a bit better, is figuring out ways to really tweak my final EPUB. to make sure it comes
Mhm.
out in a way that is going to be more accessible. But to RH, I'll say this: I get it. I love it, but I get it. Every once in a while, I'll have a conversation with someone, usually on X, and I'll get some DMs sometimes, being like I'm thinking of going indie. I get this actually quite often. Someone saying, I kind of maybe want to go indie, but this stuff is what terrifies them and makes them not want to do it.
Well, I mean, unless you're paying really big bucks to a vanity press, the person in charge of formatting your book when you publish to someone else, he's lazy. He's taking every shortcut. He doesn't care about your book. When you do it, you gotta really you care about it. That's I really like Atticus. It costs a little bit. I think it's like $150, but you can use it forever. Don't have to renew any subscriptions or anything like that. But really easy to use. In the early days, it was really buggy. They've worked out all the bugs. Works really good. You don't lose any stuff. And I have it now. I've made my Song of Bones formatting structure and my Garden Maze formatting structure. So when I want to do a sequel to either of those, I just put that to what template? Yeah, I've made made my templates already, so they're good to go. They're going to match. So anything I need to do is just chapter headers or little illustrations, or it makes it real easy, real easy. Atticus is great. Watcher of the Damned. Try out Atticus if you haven't already. What are you using that makes you cry right now? What are you using?
Well, I was going to ask too. I ended up kind of just jumping straight to the text, which I tend to do sometimes to a fault, because then you might miss other elements. So, do you have anything like a map or an index or any of those other things that you throw in?
Yeah, so I was playing with a number of those in terms of, do I include a glossary? Do I include a map? I've tended not to, other than we start off with an author's note and then notable gods and goddesses. So I've got, just a list of about 10 key gods. But otherwise, no. So the map part is quite interesting, and we're going into some dangerous territory for those that feel very strongly one way or the other. in this world, in the world that Perils of the Past is set in, humans are not actually the dominant creatures. We haven't taken over the world. We haven't got roads everywhere that we want to go. We haven't actually got a whole lot of cities. And in fact, our population's not really that large. There's 4 settlements where the ordinary person can't actually leave that settlement. Otherwise, the wild will effectively kill you. And so we're in that kind of an age where, the only people that really leave these 4 kind of quite naturally defensible locations. So the top of a mountain. I mentioned a lake island, as in an island in the middle of a lake. There's a society built within the walls of a crater, and so you've got the naturally defensible slopes, and then you've got that you're within those things, and so in these types of scenarios, it's really difficult to move in between those settlements, and it's really difficult to leave, even to go hunting without you need a full hunting party. You need a mage, you need 10 to 20 guys fully armed.
You're just talking about Australia now.
Yeah, this is great.
This is Australia.
Exactly. And so awesome. in that type of a world, they don't really have map. It's not you open it up and you've got 30, 40, 50 kind of towns and you're like following between them. And I'm kind of thinking about a whole lot of different fantasy novels in my head with these incredible maps, right? The first one that comes to mind is like a Empire of the Damned, or the maps in that are just stunning. And but no, in my type of world, no, I'm not not thinking that it needs one where it is mostly kind of here be lions, like where it's mostly to be explored.
Fair.
I would go insane formatting my book in Scrivener. Absolutely insane.
We're back to this, yeah.
I would go nuts. Scrivener I used for maybe a year, just writing in Scrivener. But it had too many little things. It gave me too many little tools. It was too distracting. It was too busy. I use Ulysses when I write because it's just document, everything's away, write. And my format, Atticus. I only touch Atticus when I'm done. But yeah, Scrivener for formatting, I can't even imagine.
For before I forget to ask, for Perils of the Past, so I've heard you say that it is a standalone, but you maybe are going to write other books in this world. Would those be at those other locations, or do you visit all the locations in this story?
Yeah, so I visit a number of the key locations, some for only a couple of days, but there are a couple of areas where I don't even mention, where you know that someone's from there. There's a tribe that is desert based, and we don't get out in the desert for it. And so yeah, I'd love to explore the people of the desert and that kind of setting more. It starts at that kind of in the mountain temple, and we move through. It's got a character in the Lake Island, and we go back to the crater at a time, and we go out into that forest. I definitely wanted in that kind of setting where it's so dangerous and where you've got some really interesting creatures in that forest. I definitely wanted to get out into that area and to put them in proper peril that way. But yeah, so I'd love to write one in the desert. I'd love to explore different areas of the forest.
Nice.
But yeah, this story wraps up everything that I want to wrap it up in the kind of 400 odd pages.
Fair.
That's cool. So you've made a world and little places in the world, and you can just drop a little pin in any of those spots and find a story.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That's fun. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, and I mean, I'll say this about maps really quick: is that not every book needs it, and it's kind of a fun challenge to you as the author to write something that a reader is going to be able to appreciate without a map, where the map is just a nice little tool to have.
I think you should only have a map if your characters have a map and have to talk about a map.
I like that. I like that.
In Lord of the Rings, Bilbo has his map he's made. You're seeing Bilbo's map.
Yeah,
That's
I like
his map.
that. Yeah.
In the next,
as long as you don't have them going to a whole bunch of towns that I cannot find on the map. Please,
Yeah.
please, when they're going to a town or a location, it needs to be on the map, or there needs to be a very good reason why it's not on the map. For example, they're going to somewhere that no one's ever been before, and that it is a map that they bought from a store, or maybe it's a map and the map maker has been intentionally deceptive because he was and that's part of the story. There's a whole lot of possibilities, but just generally, if they're going to a town, it needs to be on the map so that I can follow along.
Do you know the I always forget her actual name, but it's not even her pen. Anyways, do you know Del Toro Quest, Emily Rada? Does that sound familiar?
I've heard the name. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like every Australian author I talk to has heard but not read, heard of but not read. But like for me, those were the fantasy books that I grew up on. It was those and The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Like that was the order that got me hooked.
Love it.
And she did that. So these were novella-sized little novel, action-packed fantasy. And she would do that all the time. She would throw in maps and clues that her characters are following to unravel, and like someone giving them riddles, like Monty Python style, like they have to solve the riddle in order to finish the quest. And you would have things like that. You would have these deceptive maps and sketches drawn in that are all meant to lure them into the trap of the shadow. It was like, and it was so much fun as a kid. You're trying to solve these puzzles as you're reading, yeah. So I love that idea. There are ways to do incomplete maps if it fits the story. Absolutely. Yeah.
lied to the audience right away with a pretend fake map.
Yeah, I love it. I really like that. Yeah, and again, as long as it's justified, as long as you find out later, ooh, the Shadow Lord drew this map because he doesn't want them to know that that's there. Yeah, like
Exactly.
that works.
Exactly.
That's very fun.
I want to do something weird with my map in the next garden maze. Like, it may be in the beginning of the book, it may be in the middle of the book, because there's a certain point where they get a map. They're finally able to look at a map, and because Norland is weird, the map is weird. So I don't know if I want to spoil the map in the beginning or put the map in the middle, like have and this is what they saw. Page turn. There's the map. Page turn. I don't know what I'm going to do, because then you can't really get back to it easily to look at it again if you do that.
No.
Where I'm at for mine, I need to experiment.
Where I'm at for mine is I have I'm in a go big or go home kind of mentality for my map, just in particular for this world, where I want to wait till I fleshed out the world with a few more books, and then I already have someone in mind, and I don't care how much I have to save up or how long I have to wait, but I have this one artist in mind who does kind of those old school, illustrated, like looks like it's on a scroll with illustrations of monsters and should there be dragons. Like, oh yeah, that's the kind of map I want. To me, it's like I don't want just a dumb little outline. I'm like, I need that or nothing. That's where I'm at, So someday I'll
get my sister to make mine.
There you go.
Okay, a goblin made this map. Remember that? A goblin made it. So be messy. A goblin made it.
It's good.
Isaac, it's a really difficult question for you. That pros and cons of like, do you wait to reveal it for the characters for when they see it? Or is it going to really benefit the reader? Like if you're unveiling it halfway through, are they going to want that map for the first half? Will that help them follow it along, or
maybe the map is kind of a joke? It's a kind of a joke in the book when they finally see the map, because they've been hinting that Norland is strange, it's not normal, and when they finally see the map, like, oh, this country is strange and not normal. So I don't know. When I get closer to release, I'll be able to definitely say whether or not the map is featured in the beginning or somewhere else hidden or not. But yeah, it's a little puzzle I'm working on. I'm trying to figure out the pros and cons, because there is a chance the reader doesn't notice the weird thing about it until they get to the book, and and then they go back, look at it again, like, oh, that is weird. So maybe I could approach from that direction.
My interest is piqued. I'm gonna wait to figure out which way you go. But I'm almost, all of those different clues are almost making me feel like opening it halfway through could be incredibly cool.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. Yeah. Okay, we're coming up. We're about 5 minutes away from the hour mark, so we want to make sure we don't keep you too long, because it's morning for you. Which again, kudos to you for doing this so early. I really appreciate you coming on. Do you have time for a game?
Love a game. I am unsure, completely unsure what I'm in for today. Will I be choosing between 3 items, maybe, or what type of a game am I in for?
Well, I figured since you live in a very dangerous part of the world, you have a good instinct on danger. So we're gonna play a game, us 3. We're gonna play a most dangerous film. So what we're gonna do? The next slide is gonna have A, B, and C, and we're all gonna choose A, B, and C. The next slide will have a movie, and we all have to defend that as the most dangerous film, no matter what it is.
Okay.
And as a lawyer, I think you'll be good at this. I didn't know you were a lawyer going in, but I think this will be a very special skill. So let's see our first slide here, Tim. So I'll let you choose first. Kane, do you want A, B, or C?
I'll take the middle. I'll go B.
B? I don't remember what it is. I'm going to choose C.
And that leaves me A. See, I've been good too. So even though I'm the one, controlling this right now, I've been good. I haven't looked at this since Isaac first sent. I don't remember anymore. Maybe no, but I don't remember the order. So yeah, no, I'm as defenseless as the rest. So
I am before we go to the next slide, I'm worried that these aren't going to be like action adventure movies, or like I'm worried we're going to be talking like it'll be pick between Shrek, like Tinkerbell, and anyway, that's my prediction for what we're about to see. But
Okay,
let's see.
Like you know us. All right,
Let's see what we got here.
we're set.
Okay,
How perfect is that, right?
most
Ah,
dangerous film. So, Kane, I'll let you go first. So, you got Home Alone versus Mad Max and the Mummy. What makes Home Alone the most dangerous film out of all of these? And I feel like the argument could be made that it is the most dangerous.
I feel like it has to be made. I feel like there is only of those three that it is the most obvious choice, and that we all know why. That all of us remember how many different ways that those burglars actually died. Like, take any one of the scenarios. Take the bucket filled with concrete. Take the thumbtacks on the stairs. Take the blows to the head. There is, like, I reckon if it was reality, that those burglars would have died at least like 50 times throughout that movie.
Mhm.
I mean, we've got danger on every level. We've got danger, so much danger for a kid home alone, defenseless, except that he's not, right? He finds within himself that kind of trickster, and that leads him
He finds the inner
to
danger.
to kind of defending his own home. And so, like, look, you can have large quests, you can have bikes in dangerous roads, but there is nothing more dangerous than being attacked in your own home, and the destruction that he's able to wield with household implements is unparalleled.
That is true. That is true. That
Yeah.
is very true. But there is a spider in Home Alone, but the spider just sits on the guy's face. It doesn't do anything. The creepy crawlers in the Mummy, however, they eat you alive. There's actual death in the Mummy. There's
Scarabs?
no death in Home Alone. There is the potential of death in Home Alone. There's great potential. There's potential of there's child endangerment. Yes, I agree. But this is the Mummy. Mummy 2 has child endangerment, but we're just talking about the Mummy 1 here. Mummy 1 has like guy eaten alive, buried alive, another guy eaten, guy's hanged, freaking airplane crashes, a guy turns to sand. There's a lot of danger in this movie, man. A lot of stuff goes down.
A lot of stuff definitely that goes down. And you, Tim, I think you're about to talk about the scarabs
And
under
Tim-
the skin.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, so I'll say this. I'm already conceding it, and it's a tough call, but I'm gonna have to just immediately concede to Home Alone. Sorry, but that said, I still get nightmares. I think in lifelong, I watched The Mummy when I was just young enough for those flesh-eating scarabs to just haunt me permanently.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fair. It's tough to pass up, but that little kid, he scares the like. If I ever become a thief, that's exactly what I'm gonna be fearing.
What would happen? So replace Harry and Marv with Emotep and Benny, and they're trying to get into his house to steal some ancient artifact they need. And Kevin's trying to defend his house from the Mummy and Benny. That's the movie I want to see.
You know what?
I want to see that too. Bring that on.
Okay, we have another batch of films here. So again, Kane, A, B, or C?
Let's go C.
Go C? Okay, I'm gonna go A.
I guess that leaves me B. Let's see what we got.
Tim. Ooh.
Oh, I wish I chose B.
I tried to get a little bit of Australia in each of these slides. So, Nightcrawler. Have you seen Nightcrawler, Kane?
It is not ringing any bells.
It's about a guy who crawls around at night. He's very good at crawling. He loves the night. He's got cool sunglasses all the time.
He's got very cool sunglasses.
Very cool. He's very dangerous. People trip over him in the dark, and people curse at him with loud noises. And there's lots of dangerous looks. So Nightcrawler is very dangerous. I'm not sure it's as dangerous as Alien, though, because Alien has an alien in it. As far as I know, there's no alien in either Nightcrawler or Crocodile Dundee.
Certainly can confirm there's no alien in Crocodile Dundee.
Nightcrawler, it does have lots of car crashes. If you've never seen it, it's a very suspenseful movie. It's
if we're going off statistics, if we're bringing this at a mathematical level, the number of people dying from crocodiles and from aliens is far less than those dying from car crashes.
That movie, if it shows anything, is how often they happen. No, these aren't Australian films, EL. These are just dangerous films. One of them happens to be Australian, though.
Yeah, that's the goal. One little taste of Australian where we could for Slide.
Nightcrawler could have happened in Australia, though. He was very slimy.
That's fair. It was very.
He was. So, Tim, why is Dungee so dangerous? Why'd you choose that one? I don't understand.
See, I'm just gonna say I think Crocodile Dundee could do well in an alien, movie. I feel like
I think he could survive.
Yeah. So if we're measuring danger based on survivability, like you wouldn't want to go up against someone who can survive an alien encounter.
I mean, put Dungee in either movie, he's coming out on top.
Yeah.
He's gonna kick Nightcrawler's ass. He's gonna kick Alien's ass.
Yeah. And
he's gonna look great doing it.
So I feel like I had it easy this time. That's all.
I think Dungee is the most dangerous film here.
He is. We got to say, he is bringing a knife to a gunfight, though.
He still wins,
and that's why we love him.
There you go. Yep.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
I think Dungee wins this one. Okay.
Yeah, I will take the
final one.
Okay, Tim. We need you to pick first. I can't be picking first all the time. What do you want?
Well, see, originally we thought we would get you just because you have because we would have an unfair advantage, but Isaac and I both clearly have terrible memories and can't remember the order anyway. So, you know what? I'll take it. I will go with C this time.
Oh, good.
What do you want?
I will choose. I know what C is. I don't remember what the other ones are. I think I'll go A.
Okay, that leaves me B.
Okay.
What do we got?
Okay, let's see.
Let's bring it.
Oh, right. You sneaky bastard.
Oh boy. Oh
so
boy.
I thought that we would get like 3 movies like Happy Feet was my original kind of conception of the twist around this one. Okay, Happy Feet, Saw, and Fight Club. Not that we're allowed to talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, can't talk about it, which makes it hard to defend. Now, I picked A, right? Did I pick A?
Think so?
Okay, yeah. I picked A.
Yeah.
So, Nightclub is the most dangerous thing ever, right? Because it encourages anarchy, right? Encourages men to feel better and more confident, which we can't have because that would lead to more anarchy. And I'm pretty sure that buildings fall down and blow up in Fight Club. I'm pretty sure that happens too. And there's fighting. Lots of fighting.
There's a lot of fighting.
It's in the name. Yep.
Oh, and they burn themselves with the lye? That was dangerous. That's stupid. You don't see Happy Feet burning themselves with lye. Of course, he does there's a lot of danger in Happy Feet too, but not as much danger as there is in Fight Club.
Yeah, okay. See, but I'll get to my argument soon, but yeah.
Is Happy Feet and Fight Club almost the same movie? Because it's kind of similar ideas. I feel like you have the outsider guy who's a loner and kind of a loser, doesn't feel good about himself, meets up with some imaginary friends. In Happy Feet, it's a bunch of Robin Williams characters. In Fight Club, it's his little friend there.
I feel like Leopard Seal is already a pretty strong argument for
Leopard Seals are pretty dangerous.
Ice. Just think about Ice. Ice is already all the danger you need to kind of.
They live in the most dangerous place in the world. Maybe I did pick too strong of a thing here.
Like, I'm thinking Canada in winter and how many people, say they want to come to Canada until they think of our winters.
I don't want to go to Canada. That's crazy.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking of that just all the time. Unfair advantage again,
Yeah. So, Kane, what do you think about Saw then?
I'm not sure it needs much. It needs much more than you say the word and people are already kind of starting to get chills from the movie. And I mean, just look at the cover, right? That's black, red, utterly terrifying. There's if I was to be transported into a movie of the three of them, I know that I would not want to be on, you know, in a Saw type movie. Like, give me a bare knuckle fight, give me a sing off? God, I'm going to do absolutely terrible. But don't put me into a Saw movie. I'm going to end up missing limbs. I'm going to end up missing a lot of blood, and I'm going to be on that pavement pretty quick.
That's
dang
fair.
man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of ways that Saw. You're supposed to be able to get out of the situation. So even though it's dangerous, you are able to get out if you like freaking cut out your eye or something insane like that. So
I'm
Saw's pretty
kind
dangerous.
of attached to both of mine. I don't know.
You kind of need those.
Yeah, I need those.
Ideally, yeah. Saw's the golden age of
I think Saw's the most dangerous one.
That's fair. Yeah.
I think Happy Feet has more actual danger than Fight Club does in terms of death. Like Happy Feet, the threat of not even dying, being eaten and dying.
Yeah, that's a rough way to go. So compared to just being, beaten to death.
Yeah,
that's a tough call.
Does anybody die in Fight Club?
I don't think so.
I don't think the fat guy does.
Okay. It's been a long time since I've seen.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. So that's there we go. I need to rewatch Mummy and I need to rewatch Fight Club.
There you go. Okay, but anyway, I think Saw is obviously the most dangerous one. Here.
All right. Well, that was it. Those were our options. That was fun. That was good.
I think what I learned is I really want to see a Emotep and Benny versus Kevin McAllister.
Yes. One of us, or all of us who know, like, that needs to get written. That needs to be written, at the very least.
So much potential.
Yeah. And we also saw that lawyers are very good, because what were our first selections again? Because you gave about his
Mummy, Home Alone, and Mad Max. You didn't even try with Mad Max.
Yeah, no point at all. I'm sick of dystopia movies anyway, so or post-apocalyptic. So so that you weren't going to get a defense on that from me, but that Home Alone defense, that was lawyer 101 right there. Anyone can study that.
Well, you know what's a dangerous world? A world where it only rains one day a year, hey?
That is pretty dangerous. And cars.
And
insane people driving the cars.
Well, I was trying to go to Tim's book, but
that's extra dangerous.
Well, it's the opposite. So as you were talking Skyfold, yeah, but Skyfold, it rains every day but one. At least where they are. So yeah, let's write that book in Benny character. Yes, there you go. Actually, you know what? I finally introduced a Steve character in the sequel to The Fall of Sylvandria.
Nice.
That I'll be finishing that.
Is it like a normal Steve name, or is it hidden in a fantasy
spelling? It's barely hidden. It's so it's very noticeable. And the
Stevanus.
character kind of Staven. Staven with AE. Anyways, it's very obvious.
It's me, Staven.
I make the character funny and annoying, so that's.
I think that we should all wait in line quietly for a porridge in this porridge line.
Terrible. Oh man. All right. Well, we're coming up on time because we want to let you actually get ready for your day. Again, so great having you, Kane, especially early in the morning. Any passing thoughts? Any like what's coming next? And
yes, what's next for you?
Yeah.
Yes. So I've got the short story itch at the moment. I've been really enjoying, as you know, writing a novel takes just so much. It's all consuming in that it takes so much effort and attention to get all of the threads in the right place and to hold this storyline in your head, and also to kind of, you feel like you have to do it justice for the characters because they feel real to you. And I wasn't quite ready to dive into another full-length kind of novel. And so I also have been just really enjoying the kind of the short fiction side, just trying to tell, a story in 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 so I'm working on a really fun one at the moment, and I've got another that has just been accepted for publication in January.
Nice.
I can't say too much about it yet, but yeah, so I've got that one accepted, and I'm working on a really fun one. One of the most interesting things is that you can try a whole bunch of different writing styles and also different worlds. So I'm writing one at the moment that's set in first person present tense, which is quite interesting for me, as opposed to like Perils of the Past is written in third person past tense, which is, quite typical for your epic fantasy, and dipping into different kind of perspectives. I'm also writing one in a fantasy industrial age at the moment. And so it's been, Perils of the Past is set in like a Bronze Age kind of society. And to go from writing, Bronze Age to writing something in an industrial age where there's steam powered machines and the like. It's a lot of fun. So that's what I'm currently working on. And
is the plan, because you have a few on the go, so published on their own or in anthologies or all of the above or contests? What's kind of the
at the moment I've been submitting to magazines.
Okay,
like,
magazines,
Clark's World and the like, but obviously that's ridiculously hard to get into. But yeah, so been submitting to a number of different SFF and magazines. So I will I'll keep everyone updated by the socials and my newsletter and the like, and looking forward to continuing to finalize some of those pieces and get them out there.
Brilliant.
Very cool.
Well, and speaking of, so all your links, so anyone watching, all your links should be below us on YouTube. Where's the best place for people to follow you and get those updates?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website's probably the simplest. It has all the kind of the links to all the socials, has the links to where you can grab Perils, has a link to the newsletter. So it's Kane, KANEW, .au for Australia. So kanew.au.
It's such a great, simple website that now every time I type in K on my browser, it's just the immediate thing that pops up.
Love that.
It's really funny. Yeah, that's about as good as an author URL as you can possibly get. So everyone, that's where you go. Any last thoughts? Any last thing to share?
Just a very big thank you for having me on. It's been a lot of fun, guys, and I've been looking forward to this for some time, and it's certainly lived up to it.
Yeah, nice. It was an absolute pleasure. So
we'll have you on again when you got your next thing out.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Love it. Can't wait.
Well, anyways, so thank you so much for coming on. Keep us posted when you have something else, and thank you everyone coming in the chat. This was awesome. We had a lot of people in the chat and like really good viewer numbers today, so that's really awesome. I guess over here everyone's getting off work and like, oh, what am I going to do right now? I don't want to do anything productive, and then they're like, oh, these guys are on, let's go see what Kane Williams is saying. So perfect. So everyone, thank you for those who joined us, and look at the links, go to Kane's website, and like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. We'll be on, I believe, again next Thursday. And follow us on X and YouTube to stay in touch and find out. But we're still booked up all the way to the end of September at this point, and still people coming in. So authors
still no barn. Bring back the barn. Hashtag
still no barn. But anyways, so everyone have an awesome rest of your evening, and Kane, have an awesome day over there in the future, and we will